Ameyat. She was in the issue about the Reiki Norway. Drugi. No, that should be programming, yes, literally. No, moje betani, but moje betani. Zачем выключить тогда, если это не то? Тогда звоните Кате или кому-то. Уже слышно? Откуда? Что произошло? Can you people hear me now? I hear that it's like they are hearing me now. Anyway, sorry, please, apologies for that. I have this, my team that I'm struggling with most of the time. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. Please go ahead and share the message with your friends and family members. Let's go share the message. Let's go and tag our friends that we know. I was saying that I'm going to have a very interesting conversationist today. I'm going to be conversing and talking with somebody that some of you might have known, because you might not know his face, but you know his personality from some of the calls that he had made in to the program, and especially those people, those of you who have been on DSA platform for a while. So yes, you know, I believe that this conversation and, you know, the discussion we are going to have, the Kingdom Fruits, is going to be explosive and very productive. Like I said, I like the, you know, the enlightenment of this young man, his intellect, his passion, his energy, his drive. And but also when I was reading through his story, it's unbelievable. Like at 40, he's gone through so many paths. And I think we are going to discuss all that. But what they are bringing to the world, what he and his wife are contributing to the society, is an example to all of us, so that we could also look into what we could do to contribute to our various spheres of influence, and also how to carry the kingdom and where to carry the kingdom to. So I'm going to introduce you to Seun Esho. Is it Esho or Esho?
Esho.
Esho or Esho?
Esho.
Esho. So Seun Esho. How are you, Seun?
Hello, Dsa. How are you, sir?
Well, you know, I was just talking with Anu. I'm sure you know Anu now.
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay, so I was just talking with him that how to ask DSA, how are you, is to go into the bee's nest. In everything we jump at you.
I know. I know. I don't envy you at all. I don't envy you at all.
I am doing so many things at the same time.
I'm telling you.
And always
I was watching
engaged.
you yesterday.
Sorry.
Yes, I was watching you yesterday, and I just looked at you and I said, how is DSA doing all these things? And you know, day and night, every day, you know, you're on air, and you know, behind the scene, I know a lot of work goes into this. That to catch up with you, DSA, is a tall order.
You see, Seun, you know, some people have heard about DSA 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but what they only had is that the guy has a big church. He has all these white people in the church, big church, and all that. That's all. But they don't know the internal internal life or behind the scene.
No, they don't know. They don't have an idea. I don't think I too have an idea at all. I'm just trying to guess.
Yeah, but now it's better at least. This is much, the time we are living in is much better, because at least people are seeing me day in, day out. So they can already, you know, put a picture together and be able to configure, you know, what is the secret behind DSA's success, you know, with 99% white people, and in Europe and in communism. How could a man possibly have that kind of result? And I think the way they are seeing me day in, day out we would have should give them an idea of the lifestyle and the intensity and the energy and the work ethics that produces that kind of result.
Very, very true. Because I said something to my wife. I said, before I came to the UK, and she like I said, she's lived here, more than I have. And I said to her, and I said, we're talking about issue of, the racism issue and all those. And I said to her, I said, the first thing that you need to have in your mind is this: where there is excellence, you can beat racism with excellence. And that's what I see in DSA. That discipline, that excellent spirit in everything that it does. So I told her, I said, come, for you, you see, racism is not an issue. But when you are excellent at what you do, let me tell you something. No matter how long, you will break the barriers in your career. And that's what's happening to her right now. She's breaking barriers because the excellent spirit.
Even though she's still a black African woman.
Yes. But I told her, I said, the color of your skin will not matter where there is excellence. It is when you are not excellent at what you do, that's when people will start noticing the color of your skin.
Beautiful.
But that's it. But when you are excellent at what you do, nobody cares about the color of your skin.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
Yep. I have experienced that. I have tasted that. I normally say I never care. I don't even know if racism exists or not. I do, because people are attacking me every day, calling me names, but I don't even notice them. Because anywhere that it matters, whenever I appear or I produce results or I perform, everything gives way. Everything gives way.
It gives way. Simple, DSA. Simple. It gives way. That is it. And that is the spirit that all of us need to carry. That is how we're going to make impact in this world, especially for the black man and the black race. That is the only way we're going to have impact in this world. When we are excellent at what, that's what I tell my friends. When I got to the UK, I saw how things were happening. And I told my friends, I said, come, you will not make impact in this kind of environment that is knowledge-driven, technologically driven, and all those. You can't make impact when you are not excellent at what you do. You are just talking and then using your spirituality to oppress people, just speaking in tongues and causing trouble all over the place. And you are not producing nothing. You are not excellent at what you do. You are not producing any result. You are adding no value to the society. When you add value to a society, the society they want to keep you.
Yeah.
They will beg you with the visa. They will beg you. So and those are the things that I've seen in you. My wife and I have learned a lot from you, because you couldn't have achieved, even when I heard about you, and I heard about you many, many years ago. And
before you came to the UK?
Yes, DSA, yes. This was my early stage as a believer. My early stage. I've been hearing about Sunday Adelaja in Ukraine, because I had a few friends of mine that were pastors at that time, and all of them were revering you. But, like you said, but like you rightly pointed out, they were just revering you for the results. But they didn't understand the inner workings of how you got those results. They were thinking that you got the result based on the things that the MGOs in Nigeria were doing. That's how you got the same result in the West. But me, myself, and I now understand better. Now that you couldn't have used the same approach and get the same, because it is completely not possible. Completely not possible.
If you use the tools that they use, I can only get the kind of result that they get. To get a different result that is totally different from that, I've got to use a different tool.
Completely different. Completely different. Because can you imagine, in all the branches of most of the Nigerian churches in the West, how many Caucasians do you see worshiping those churches? It is not possible, because of the approach and the gospel that they are preaching. It's not possible. There's so much knowledge in the West, especially in Europe. Europe is the seat of knowledge.
Yeah.
So all this mediocrity.
Call him back again, because it's frozen out. The call ended. So we'll call him back again. All right, please go and share the message, everybody. Let's go share the message with our friends and family members. Share, share, share. Let's share the message, and let people hear Seun, because Seun's got a lot to say. He's got a very active mind, a very robust mind, and I think it would be a good thing for us to listen to him. So please, let's bring him back and listen to some of his story. He's got some unbelievable stories. Some unbelievable stories. And yeah, so we're going to try to get him. Please go share the message. Meanwhile, I want to also announce to you a new book. Please find a picture of the book. A new book that we just released is on Amazon. Is Don't Spend the Money You Don't Have on People to Impress People Who Don't Care. Yeah, something like don't spend the money you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people who don't care. So that is the book. Don't spend the money you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people who don't care. So I was just talking about the fact that people need to go and share the message, and we need to hear, the wisdom from Seun. I was making a point before you left. I was saying, for you to make an impact in Western Europe, your teachings must not be based on emotionalism and sensationalism. It must not be based on just winding up people's emotions and talking loud and shouting and screaming and shouting hallelujah. And, that it might have its own place. But I said, if you have noticed the way and the style of preaching of DSA, you will discover that it is always fact-based, truth-emphasized, and more like, talking to the mind of people, because I pastor white people. This is the only way it works here. I don't know if you have picked that up, the way we pray.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
No, wait, I can't hear you. Yeah, come again, please.
I said, oh, yes, DSA, that you are very, very correct. You're very, very right. Because see, one of the problems that we have back home is this. We are not critical thinking. Everything is emotion based. Everything is sentiment based. We don't sit down and look at the overall situation of things and say, okay, these are the symptoms. There must be something causing these symptoms. Let us think deep and look at what is going on. But you see, for instance, I have children. My first daughter, she's going to be 8 years old. Yes, from school here, they have been teaching them critical thinking. If I tell my daughter something, she questions, they wake up with questions every morning. This is what we didn't enjoy when we were growing up in Nigeria. We are not given room, we are not given room to ask questions. Why am I going to church? You know, one of recently, yes, not to buttress your points. I was speaking on my last show, and I called him and I said something. I said, look at what's going on right now in the body of Christ, where the likes of Daddy Freeze, DSA, Raphael, and many others out there are challenging our theology. What should be the reaction of the leaders and us as followers and as the children of God? We should sit back and say, okay, what is going on? Let us find why are we being challenged right now? Why is our theology being challenged? Is it true that what these people are saying, is it true? Because I said to my wife, I said, do you know why it's important for even people like us living in the West, why we need to respond not with emotions, but to go and examine ourselves. And if our theology is wrong, we should update it. Yes, you know why it's important? You see, in the West, there is a system that works. And that system is currently protecting you and our children for us. But in the future, our children, when they start asking questions, that same system will protect them against us. You know why? Because when they start to ask us questions about our religion and theology, when we continue to use the African mentality to answer them, the Nigerian mentality, you can't ask questions, you have to go to church. These children are going to reject the gospel of Jesus Christ, because it is not the gospel of Jesus Christ that we are preaching in Africa. They are going to reject it, and they are going to question you. And you won't be able to force them to say no by force, by fire. You have to be a Christian. You have to follow Jesus Christ. Because most of these young people now are becoming atheists. They are becoming agnostics. Why? Because the gospel that we are preaching is not the gospel of Christ. Let me give you an example, DSA. The Bible says that in Proverbs 4, the Bible says, this is what God said. Look at what happened in Genesis. When God was talking about seed time and harvest. That as the earth remained, seed time and harvest
will not stop.
Now, that seed time did not mean money.
No.
God wasn't talking about money
at all.
That is why, if we go back to the 5 pillars of truth, the DSA.
Yes.
For instance, because God did not speak about money, that is why people that are sowing seeds, some will say seed is working for me, the other will say seed is not working for me. Why? Because truth, to know one of the pillars of truth, is the truth must be universal. Now, it's not delivering a universal result, because that's not what God means. Now, let's now jump to Proverbs 4. When God said diligence, a diligent hand maketh rich. That is the truth, because it is universal. If you are Chinese, if you are Indian, if you are French, if you are Nigerian, if you are Cameroonian, if you put in diligence, you will be rich. So that is the gospel of Jesus Christ. But Genesis that you are saying seed time, you can see it's not bringing result because it's not the truth. Because God is talking to farmers that if you plant your crops, harvest time you will harvest. Seed time. Look at what God said. As the earth remaineth, as the God is referring, God first of all pointed us to the earth. As the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, cold and winter will not cease, Abi. So God is saying that if you are a farmer in China, a farmer in England, a farmer in Nigeria, in Congo, in Zimbabwe, if you plant your crops, you will harvest. That is why farmers are getting a universal result, because it's the truth. But people are planting money, and the money is not bringing results. So these are the things. So I said to my wife, I said, let me tell you something. If we in the West don't embrace this challenge, that our theology is being challenged, and we don't embrace it and go back and study again and say, hey, what are we doing wrong? Our children will challenge that theology in years to come. And I'm talking about in just less than 5 years, 10 years time. And they will reject this gospel of Jesus Christ because we are not preaching the truth. Because number one,
I was saying that if our messages have been based on reasoning and logic and truth and common sense, that we won't have a situation whereby these ladies, one is Funke, one is Folake or something, so one is Abiodun, Fatoyinbo, all those people, we won't have all of them coming up with just some ridiculous doctrines and, just emotions. Because everything is based on impressing people. Emotion, just stirring up their emotion. And when they are under the emotion, they go and give money.
Yes. You see, I'm going to respond to that in 2 ways. You see, number one, somebody carrying a slave mentality cannot deliver another slave. Now, if you watch the video of these people, they have been saying that I used to be poor. I used to be poor. I used to be poor. Now, if you look at that statement, it keeps showing up in all their teachings. I used to be poor, but giving got me out. I used to be poor, giving got me out. You know what? When I watch those videos and I study them closely, I realize that, let me tell you something, DSA. These people, they are slaves to what they are running away from. They are not truly delivered. You know what? Somebody that is delivered in his mind, that is no longer a slave in his mind to racism, whether it is pornography, whether it is money, if you're not a slave to whatever challenges you have, that you have been truly delivered, what you will be doing is you'll be looking at delivering other people. Yes. And DSA, you are an example. You are an example. You have been delivered in your mind. You have been set free from slavery, from lack, from want. You have been set free from so many, from religion. And that's why you are coming out to deliver other people. Those are the characteristics of somebody that is truly free in his mind. You see, these people, they are not free in their mind. They are slaves to money. They are slaves to poverty. So that is why they don't create anything. Have you seen them create anything? They don't create anything. They are all slaves are takers. They keep taking. Harriet Tubman in America, she used to be a slave. Harriet Tubman delivered herself in her mind. She escaped slavery. And you know what she did? Yes, immediately she delivered 1,000 slaves. You don't know what she said after delivering those 1,000 slaves? She said she could have delivered another 1,000 more. But those people didn't even know that they were slaves. The same thing with many of these GOs. They are slaves to what they are running away from. They are not truly delivered. So the faith that they are preaching is even false. Because you yourself, you are not delivered. That's why you are collecting and collecting and collecting from people without you producing anything in return to say that, oh guys, I am delivered. I'm producing something. That is what you are doing. That is what I told Mayowa. I said, Mayowa, that's what you are doing as well. Because you're free in your mind. You're free from religion. That's why you have set up a platform to free other people. So if you are truly free, yes, in whatever challenge that you have, if people are truly free, what they will be doing, they will be looking at delivering other people. That's why you see that the similarities between our GOs and our politicians in Nigeria. The politicians who are slaves. They are slaves to money. They are slaves. That's why they're just collecting from the national purse, just amassing wealth. How much money can somebody spend? They're just stealing every day. Why? Because these people, they are not true leaders. They are slaves, and they cannot deliver a nation that is like Nigeria. A slave that is not free in his mind cannot deliver another slave. Yes, it is impossible. Beautiful. So you first of all, yes, you have to be free from in your mind first to go out all out to start to deliver other people. That is what my story says. I was delivered in my mind. I'm now creating opportunity for other people as well because I've been delivered. So most of these GOs, the secondly DSA. If you notice the trend now, you see, I think for Auntie Funke, I see that she is the one that wears the trousers at home. Because I don't think her husband is bold enough to come and do what she's doing. Yes.
Or
so
maybe maybe the husband has conscience.
That is it. You see, one of the characteristics of women is this, DSA. There are two things about women. There's no middle point for a woman. If a woman, she is strict and disciplined, you will see her. For example, this NAFDAC woman that died a couple of years ago in Nigeria, she was a disciplined woman. I've forgotten her name now.
Yes, Akuyele, Dora Akuyele.
Dora Akuyele. She was a disciplined woman, and she was extreme. Now, if you find a woman too that she's terrible to the extreme. There's no middle point. You know, men, we understand how to do diplomacy. We understand politics. We understand politicking. So men can marry the two and be in the middle. And that's one of the important. You know, women are so important in society because they help to uphold the value system of a family, to call their husbands to order, to help the children to have good value system. But when a woman has lost it, that's it, she has lost it. If you look at all the tyrants in Africa that have ruled Africa, go and ask Zimbabwe recently, what's this man's name?
Mugabe.
That just left. Mugabe. Go and find out. It is his wife that is pushing him to do all those things. The same thing happened to what's this guy in Egypt.
Yeah, okay.
Egypt as well.
Mubarak.
The Egyptian.
Mubarak.
Yes, Mubarak. They said his wife was the one that told him not to relinquish power until they pushed him out by force.
And
if a woman is bad,
and the one in Ivory Coast.
The one in Ivory Coast as well.
Gbagbo.
So you know, it's the same
thing. I will not put it on the woman though, because I will not like to put it on gender.
Yes, I'm not putting it on. No, I'm not putting it on gender like that, JSA. But what I'm saying is, you see, women for this kind of women, what they're doing now, you will notice these preachers that are coming and I think.
But those women you are talking about, they learned it from people like Adeboye, Oyedepo. They are the men who started it.
Well, we don't know where they learned it from. DSA, we can't be too sure, because it might be something that's already in them, and they just found examples in those men. We can't be too sure, because it is what is inside of you. If you find an opportunity, and when it comes out, that means it's already resident in your heart, in you. I'm really appalled and disappointed in those women.
Did you see the second woman? Is it Folake they call her?
I don't even. I haven't heard of her before. I saw her just briefly, and those kind of videos, I can't just watch them anymore. It is highly irritating. It is highly shameful. It's highly disgraceful. It has no basis. We have searched everywhere. Reality rejects it. Logic rejects it. Spirituality rejects it. There is no basis for it. There is no basis. We have looked at scripture. We can't find what they're doing. Reality says no. This doesn't make any sense.
But let's face it. Almost all of them are doing that in Nigeria now.
Yes. You know what is happening, DSA? You see, people have genuine needs. People have genuine needs.
If people have genuine needs, don't be taking from them now to address their needs. Rather give to them.
Thank you. You know why? Like I said earlier on, these people, they are not deliverers because they are still slaves to what is chasing them. They can't deliver other people. And the mistake we are making is we are seeing them as deliverers because they are saying that they are the anointed of God.
Okay.
Because we ourselves don't have knowledge of God. So they come with that fallacy and we just jump on the bandwagon.
Okay, let me look at your own case, for example. Let's go into you said there are real needs, there are genuine needs in Nigeria. But why don't you go to Nigeria like Matthew is doing and gather all those people who are in need and tell them to give you offering and then go and be building a city or village or whatever in your town, or building something, and then give them once a year some wrapper or some material, and about you bring out the money, you'll be building your empire. But what you did is totally the opposite, and I want us to gradually go into your response, which is the direct opposite of the response of these pastors.
Yes. Yes, like I said, you see, I see myself as a social catalyst. I don't like injustice. I'm a very passionate social catalyst. I am very passionate about social issues. Based on my personal experience, as you have said, like I said, I went to 2 universities. My first university, I couldn't get my certificate after spending 6 years graduating, finishing. I couldn't because there was just issues that I know that I'm responsible for and all that. And when I got home, the situation at home was my parents were financially down, and I felt so bad. I felt so irresponsible because I just looked at myself that if I had my certificate now, I could get a job and help the family and bring about some, succor to the family. But I couldn't do that at that time. So what happened? In my quest of trying to find what I was going to do, 2 good friends of mine, they were, in Lagos. They had left university at that time. This was 1998.
The first university you went to, and
yes,
you didn't get a certificate, it's University of Ilorin, isn't it?
Yes, DSA.
But have you also been hearing of late that a lot of people have gone on even change.org, or they have gone on the internet to complain about University of Ilorin not releasing their certificate? Maybe you are not aware of it, but there is a big move.
I'm not aware of it, but my own issue, there were too many complications with my own, and it's long time ago. So I don't know. I've long forgotten that because now I'm a graduate of University of Lagos, Unilag.
A lot of students have issues with the University of Ilorin for some reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be many issues. Because in my time as well, a lot of people had different issues as well. And of course, political issues also affect us as students as well, because those positions, the position of the VC is very, very political in Nigeria.
Okay.
Very, very political.
Is
oh
it?
yeah, because there's money to chop. There's money to chop. That as a VC of a federal university, there's money to chop.
Wow.
You have money to use. So it's always political and all that, So yeah, so I'm sure students, I don't know what their own issues were and what actually, but my own issue, there were a few complications. I also wasn't very focused in my studies at that time, and I was doing life. I was enjoying life, and then there was other things as well. So I don't know what their own issues were, So I can't really say why the complaints is on right now, but my own was long time.
So
ago,
you didn't finish university. You came back home.
Yes.
So what was your plan when you came back home?
Yes, I left. It was the year that my set graduated. I also graduated, and I was waiting to get my results and get at least if they would give me a pass, at least I would take. So that I'll take something back home. But that was when I realized that there were complications with so many things with my admission 5 years ago, 5 years, when I entered and all those. So there were so many other things. I was just realizing. So it was. I think that was what actually God used as well to lead me to Him. Because, like I said to you, I've had many people preach to me before then. I didn't give my life. I was going out for altar calls. Nothing changed. But at that time, I was just having a chat with the Holy Spirit, and that was it. I never turned back. We just had a chat, and and that was it. And that was my life. So that's how I, moved in. I was born into a Celeste family. We went to Celestial Church, Keruba and Seraphu. My parents were Orthodox. Both, one was Anglican, one was Baptist. So I'm very, when it comes to the religious circle, I'm very entrenched in it because of my background and my family.
No, how could they be Orthodox and Celeste at the same time?
Dsa forget now. It's Nigeria. Yes, they attend. Okay, at some point, my mother was from a Baptist family. I think she left and they moved into Celestial Church with my dad. My dad was from Anglican. They both moved to Celestial Church, and then later my mother left Celestial Church and went back to Baptist. So I was the one that actually brought my family into the charismatic movement. I was one that went to preach the gospel in my house and got the family born again, the whole family. So after I got born, that was after I got born again. So yeah, so in Nigeria, yes, people go to different churches. Even some people still attend Celeste and they can still go to Orthodox. It's a mix. Let me tell you something. The religious circle in Nigeria right now is like what do you call it? Ilalasepo. Yes, Ilalasepo.
No.
Where everything is mixed together. It's like a soup. It's like a stew in Nigeria made from okra. So you put all sorts of very expensive meat, less expensive meat. You just mix everything, and it's so sweet.
I think they call it ogbono.
No, ogbono is different though. This one is ilalasepo. Everything mixed together. That's why even the gospel right now is mixed together. Lies plus some form of truth. Everything is ilalasepo now. Everything is mixed together, and the taste is good. And that's the problem the taste is good. But if you look at the ingredients, that is when you start to know that something is wrong with this soup. Something is definitely, this is not God. Something is wrong because everything is mixed together. So in Africa, yeah.
No, but I want you to address another situation. I want you to address, we'll come back to your education and how you survive in the poverty setting. But I'm saying you are living in London now. Another man of God, so to say, pastor, is also living in London, based in London. He's saying he's going to Nigeria to resolve the problem of Nigerians by gathering and raising money.
Yes.
$1,000, $1 million naira, all those kind of things. Why are you not doing the same thing, but you are doing the opposite? What you and your wife have done is that you have you've seen the poverty on ground. You are not saying, the need is real and is genuine, so let me gather offering. It doesn't make sense. What you are doing is you are actually going there to provide and lift people out of poverty by providing. That's why I want you to tell us what you have, how you have responded to the poverty at home, which contradicts how these so-called men and women of God are responding.
Yes. So basically, DSA, you see, I don't, I have a problem with Africans, and I've been asking God, what is our problem? One of the things I found out is this: we are not deep thinkers, like I rightly said, because we have to link everything to thinking and critical thinking. When I got to this environment, I looked at the environment and I said, wow, these people, they are not religious. They don't promote religion. They are less, concerned about religion as us. But they are the ones that are actually implementing the mind of God on earth. So my wife and I, before we actually met, like I said, I see myself as a social catalyst. I'm concerned about social issues. I'm concerned for people. I see myself, God, I know God has given me a calling to build lives and to support people at a very early stage in my Christian life. So before my wife and I met, she also has been doing something on her own. Can you imagine, before we even met?
Wow.
So, yes, before we even met, she was in the UK, I was in Nigeria, and she was already sending money home to help our alma mater, which is Air Force students, SS3 students that cannot afford to pay for their WAEC. She was already paying for it, sending money to ensure that those kids go through the WAEC examinations and able to go further their education. But for me, before I left Nigeria, I've also been doing something. I relate because of what I went through. I relate with a lot of people around me that I feel that they don't have the opportunities, they don't come from the same background as I am, they don't come from the same family as I come from. So I deliberately go out of my way to relate with them, find out what is going on, and how can I support, and how did it start? There's a guy that I met in church, one of the churches I attended in Nigeria, and his name was David. David was a tailor, a trained tailor, but he didn't have the instruments to work with. So he was managing with his brother somewhere in Ibadan, in Mokola. And what was happening? David was using his brother's instruments to sew. But because David was very good at what he does, he was getting more jobs than his brother. And his brother started fighting him. So they were fighting, struggling to use the equipment, struggling to do this and all that. So David was complaining. David came to meet me and said, this is what he's going through now. But he can't afford to buy all those equipments and all those things. I just said, really? And he told me the whole story. I said, okay, wait. I remembered my mother used to have a big tailoring outfit at some point in her life. And I still can see some of those machines in the house, those expensive machines. DSA, what we all need is to have the heart. You see, it's not about money. It's you just having the heart to help other people. So I went home. It didn't start with money, or DSA. I didn't start with money. So I went home. I went to see my mom. I said, Mom, this equipment of yours, are you still using it? I relayed the story of David to her. She said, fantastic. You can take it, Joe. I took it. I went to give it to David. Now, DSA, what's this story? So David started sewing more, and it was expanding. His brother got jealous again because David was getting more jobs now that he had equipment, but the shop was small. David came to me and I said, David, what do you need? He said, I need to expand. I need to get my own shop. How much is it? 40,000 naira. Thank God I was doing business at that time. I got the 40,000. We went to Mokola. We got a shop, set David up. This is not the testimony. You know what the testimony is? David used to be an illiterate. DSA, Olosi school. He just went to secondary school. Guess what, DSA? From that business today, David is a graduate of University of Ibadan. He paid himself through school through that business.
Wow.
Yes, through that business, he paid himself through school.
Beautiful.
So now, when I saw that this was
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
yeah. So when I saw that this was early 2000, so I said to God, God, is this the model? Because people helped me as well. Some people gave me tools to start my business.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm hearing you very
So
well.
some people gave me tools. Two of my friends gave me tools to start my business as well. So they gave me 30,000 naira worth of neckties that I was using. I was hawking neckties round Ibadan to offices and Lagos, and that was where my business started from. So I saw it as a model to use. And why? Because I was free. I already freed myself in my mind. So I saw it as a model to use because that freed me from poverty. It freed me from lack. That kind gesture from my friends freed me. So I now used it as a model to free other people. And that is what brought us to establishing Sowoko.
So
Where, yes.
Sowoko means togetherness, right?
Yes, togetherness. Now, Sowoko is Sowoko is, how will I define it? I can define it in two ways. It's a partnership, it's a partnership between us and the people that need help, and also a partnership between us and people that want to help other people as well. So everybody is a partnership that we can join hands together and help one another grow, help one another develop, help one another to achieve in life. So that's what Sowoko means. So that's why we now set Sowoko up, sowoko.com. We set it up to expand what we've been doing privately. Because like I said, my wife and I, we've been doing this privately. We didn't want to, we said we wanted to just do it on our own and do it with our own resources and just do it. But we see that there's more poverty in the land and we can do more. But we have to release ourselves to the outside world so that we begin to partner with other people so that we can achieve more. Just like you have, what Muhammad Yunus is doing in Bangladesh. Just like you have, the Oxfams of this world and all that. So that's what we now and you are instrumental to that. You are instrumental to that. In making us coming out of, we believe that we were in a shell because we're just doing it privately, just reaching out to people, picking up people from the streets, reaching out to people all around us, finding out from friends who needs help, finding out from relatives, who do you know that needs help, that doesn't have a pedigree or a good background, that is struggling. We keep reaching out to people to send us names, and we interview those people, we speak to them, we understand what they're going through, so we are able to tailor the kind of business, because what we are doing is we're not dashing people money. We are not a charity. We are here to solve the problem. Because we believe that when people have some form of livelihood, the overall living condition of their families will be better, and they will be able to send their children to school if they have children. So we want to solve the problem of lack, of poverty, of not having. So whatever business idea that you have, or whatever business that you can do, we will come in and look at it critically. We will do the business the business plan together and all those things. And this cuts across all. We're not talking of big entrepreneurs or with big projects. So no. We're addressing issues from the grassroots. Addressing issues. That's one of the things that we just did recently by, we just started a Kekemarwa business for another guy who is from Ebonyi. We don't know him from Adam. We picked him up from CMS in Lagos in the traffic.
What was he doing?
And we just set him up. It was hawking sweets. Sweets, early morning, sweets. He was hawking sweets in the hold up. We have his video on our website. He was hawking sweets. So you see, DSA, the point still goes back to the fact that you have to be free in your mind to be able to do that. Our GOs are not free in their minds. They are slaves to what they are running away from. They are slaves to their background. They say they come from a poverty background. They are still slaves to it. That is why they don't understand how to
So why didn't you go home to raise money for yourself and bring back to England?
Thank you, DSA. That is the difference between us, because I'm not a slave in my mind any longer. I'm not a slave to what I'm running. I'm not a slave to my background. I'm not a slave to the challenges I went through. I'm not a slave anymore in my mind. And that's why God gave me this idea of how to free myself. When I got the idea for how to free myself, I saw it as a tool to be used to free other people. But so if this gospel is the true gospel that they are preaching, if it's the true gospel that has truly set them free, they should use the same gospel to free other people, not enslave people. And that's what you are doing. You are using the gospel of Jesus Christ, which has freed you first. You have been freed first, DSA. And that's why you are going out to free other people. But these pastors, our GOs, they are not free. In their minds, they are slaves to whatever they are running away from, to their background. Until you're free, until you're truly free in your mind, you can't set other people free.
So you are going back home to look for people who are not your relatives.
Yes, so DSA. That is the gospel of Jesus Christ. John 13:35. Jesus said, by this all men shall know that you are my disciple. By what? By when ye love one another. By this. That's what James 1:27.
Can you take the story of one family? I like the story you just told me about the Ebonyi boy. Can you take a story like that, 2-3 stories of a family that have been helped?
Beautiful. Biola, there's another girl called Biola. How did we meet Biola? When my wife relocated to Nigeria in 2008 to come and get married to me, because she's lived in the UK for longer than, like I said, she lived in the UK 10 years before that time. She relocated back to Nigeria. So I had to get her a taxi man that takes her to work every morning. She works on the island. So I needed to get a taxi man because my office was in Ikeja, and sometimes because of the traffic of the Third Mainland Bridge, she had to. It's always difficult for me to drop her off and get back. It's always because of the time. So what I did was we got her a taxi man. Now, because my wife and I, we already have a mind to always find people to help. So my wife engaged the driver, and the driver was telling his story. He's a polygamous man, and his last baby, he had about 10 or 12 children. His last baby, which was Biola, he said that Biola, I have a last baby called Biola. She even wants to go to the polytechnic, but he can't afford to send her to school. So my wife said, okay, can you allow your daughter to come and see me and my husband? She gave her our address. The girl came. We sat her down. She said she wants to go to polytechnic. What do you want to go and read there? She said it. My wife said, okay. We found out that she was serious about education because in her family, none has gone to the university. Not to talk of polytechnic. So she's aiming to go to polytechnic. So my wife sat her down. We now said, well, okay, this is the situation. You are not going to polytechnic. You are actually going to go to university. And my wife chose the course that she was going to read at the university. And DSA, today, Biola has graduated from the Federal University of Technology, Akure. We sent her, we gave her full scholarship, our own money, full scholarship. Biola today, she's married with children, and Biola today, she has a business, a fashion, because we sent her on training as well. She went to train as a fashion designer. She has a business now. And she's the only one in our entire family that went to school. And for me and my wife, that is wow.
Where did you get the money from? Were you using your tithe and offering money to do that?
DSA. Yes, now our money, personal money, we stop paying
Yeah,
tithe.
because if you stop paying tithe and offering, just for people to know that tithe and offering could be redirected to projects like this instead of giving to the religious cabals.
Yes. So of course, I stopped paying tithe. And why did I stop paying tithe? One of the reasons that made me to stop paying tithe was my wife. I had to pay salary staff at some point, and I was waiting for money from a business transaction. It didn't come. So my wife just woke up one morning and she came to me and said, "Shall go and pay your staff salary. This is my tithes."
Wow.
And then I was still religious. So I now sat down here and said, based on the Malachi 3 that they were preaching at that time, as I said to God, I said, God, this girl, she has thought in her heart that we cannot hold staff salary. Why? Because those staff will need it. And she brought her tithe. So are you saying, God, that you are going to now punish this girl for giving me a tithe to go and use it to set somebody free? That was when I started to question all these religious teachings. And in my mind, I sat down with God. I said, God, so are you telling me that you're going to be wicked to my wife? Are you telling me that you're going to destroy our work, destroy our business, just because she has used her tithe to set somebody free? And that was when the cookie crumbled. This was in 2008, 2009. And that's when the cookie crumbled. That, are you serious? And that was it. I found out the truth. And the body of knowledge I had at that time wasn't so much, but I was forced to go and find out because I have been struggling with this for so many years. This was the reason why I fought with 2 pastors as well, because of the injustice meted at church members, people that are serving, so-called serving in the church. So, this is what led us to what we're doing. Number one is we have to be free in our minds. And another story I have is another guy, Jide. What happened to Jide? Jide was in one of these churches that I was. Jide is an orphan, had no family. He surrendered his whole life to the pastor and told the pastor that you are my father, you are my mother, just help me. And this boy was serving as a houseboy in the house of the pastor for many, many years. He is the one, he does everything for the family of the pastor and all that. What happened? People bring tithe money to the church. This pastor will collect it. One day, somebody brought the tithe money to the house. This boy collected it and kept it for the pastor as usual. When the pastor came back, the pastor said a few thousand was missing. And the boy said, this is not the first time I've been collecting money from you. Collecting money on behalf of, on your behalf from people and putting it in the place and giving you when you come back. So everything became a problem, and the boy was sent out. He had no place to live. I was the one that took him up, and he needed accommodation. I said, come and stay in my house temporarily, because it was my family house. But I now remember that I had a friend that had a flat in Ibadan, but his office was based in Lagos, and the house was locked up. So I said, let me speak to my friend. I just spoke to my friend. I said, come, your house is locked up, it's always dirty, you always need people to clean it up. After you come to Ibadan maybe once in a year or twice a year, and nobody's living in the house. I have somebody that needs help. Can we help? He just said, do you trust the person? I said, yes, I trust the person. He gave me the keys. That was how Jide got accommodation for free for 2 years. DSA. It's all about the heart. It's all about you looking out, because it is easy. DSA, all of us are praying in church. But do you know that my problem is 50,000? Somebody's problem is just 500 naira, and I have the 500 naira. Why bother God? Why not give that person the 500 and solve that person's problem? So this is my motto in life, DSA. And there are many stories, DSA. Many stories that my wife and I can many stories. Even in my family, I set my younger sister up in business. so that she can able to support herself and support her family.
So what will you agree that an investment into people's life like this is a better use of people's tithe than just going to give it to some churches where you don't know what they do with it?
Oh yes, DSA. You see, DSA, you know what I will say? You cannot say that you are fulfilling purpose and you are not touching people's lives. It is impossible. You can't say that you are fulfilling purpose and that purpose is not about people. It's about people, and the people that we are talking about is people directly close to you. Don't be looking for, but you see, DSA, the problem is this in Africa. The problem is there's a lot of things responsible for people taking their tithes and their offerings to church.
What could be responsible?
I'm going to tell you. One of the things is DSA. Africans are very greedy people. Africans are very selfish people, very self-centered people. Because we have not been taught the culture of looking out for one another. We don't come from that culture. In the West, they have been taught. You will sit in the West, share. In my children's school, they always tell them, share with your friends, share. We are not taught. Secondly, ego. Thirdly, ego. We are an egocentric bunch of people. Because we want the recognition of the pastor. We want to be the only one. DSA, let me give you a typical example. If you live in a community where the road is bad, do you know what a black man will do? A black man that has the money will not make that road good. He will rather go and buy an SUV. He can buy a fleet of them that he will use to oppress people rather than fix that road for everybody to enjoy, that he himself can stroll in the evening. And that's the mentality of the white man. And that is not the mentality of the black man. A black man will rather buy SUV and be oppressing everybody. And that's the same goes to the GOs. If they are truly free in their minds, if they are not slaves to colonialism, if they are not slaves to slavery, what they will be doing is the monies that they are collecting, they will be using it to build hospitals where the government will come and learn from the church that, how can you build such a big hospital that is free of charge? Look at what Deeper Life did in Bagada Ifako. They went to build a monstrosity, DSA. It cost 5 billion naira.
Wow.
If you know that community, 5 billion. DSA, let me tell you about that community. Ifako Bagada is traffic prone. It's a terrible community to live because it's a small community, but it has a large population of people living there, and the roads are bad, and there's only one way in and one way out. That same place, Deeper Life went to build 5,000. They went to build a 50,000 seat auditorium there, costing 5 billion. DSA, look at that. Now, to maintain that monstrosity, DSA, if you see the central air conditioning that is in that place alone, if you see the generator, the amount of money they're going to be spending on diesel a day, DSA, if that building was an hospital for the community, for the Bagada people, free hospitals, for the people that can't afford hospitals, DSA, can you imagine what the gospel of Jesus Christ will be? If that building is free health care for the people in that community. But you know what? These guys, these so-called pastors are slaves. That is their true. We need to understand.
So they are slaves enslaving other people.
Thank you, DSA. They are slaves in their mind. They are not free. Because if the gospel of, look at what Jesus did, DSA. Jesus was a free man. He was going everywhere to free people. That same freedom turned into miracles. In terms of sicknesses, Jesus was delivering, freeing people. Those are the things. Because of the freedom in his mind, that was why Jesus was going out freeing other people. The gospel that these people are preaching, if they truly believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, the results will be different, DSA. They will be going out freeing Africans from slavery. They are complaining about globalization. That globalization has not done Africa well. Okay, fine. Why can't you create the jobs? You are buying up buildings that were former businesses. You are buying up buildings that were former manufacturing setups. You are buying up buildings that were production factories before. And you are setting it up and putting people in there to come and pray every day, DSA. Who does that? It is a slave that does that.
All right. There are some people who are watching us that might be interested in starting something like similar to what you are doing.
Yeah.
Lifting up families or empowering individual families so that they will be able to take care of themselves, bringing them to independence and self-sufficiency. Where do they start? How do they start? Do they start by looking for somebody to represent them, their relatives, or do they start by registering an organization? Do they start by putting their tithes aside? And what are the steps?
Yes, I'll go back to what I've been saying. This first step is number one. You have to set yourself free in your mind and free from religion, free from ego, free yourself from yourself and understand the value of purpose, which has to do with people. When you understand that, then how do you start? For instance, it doesn't start with money. Like I said, when I started, it didn't start with money. It started by me relating with people, caring for people, asking them questions, looking at people's faces, and you're able, just asking them questions, what's going on? And then from there, for instance, I didn't start with money. I started by finding someone that had what the person that has need wants. For instance, like I told you about David. David needed equipment, sewing equipment. I remembered my mom had sewing equipment that she wasn't using. I went to ask her on behalf of David, and she brought it. So it doesn't start with money, it starts with the heart. The heart to reach out to other people, the heart to live for others, the heart not only to live for yourself, but it just starts with your heart. And then when you start like that, you can now gradually, because that's how we started. We started looking at because I didn't have everything at first. I was reaching out to people, and when people were telling me what their concerns were, I was now looking at my sphere of influence. Who in my sphere of influence can help this person? So I now linked them up. Now we are now a social business. So that's how we develop from having the heart, and then from you finding people in your sphere of influence that can help other people in the little way, in whatever little way. And from there you can now develop, you can now grow it. And that's how we have grown it. And now we're a social business. We're now a business, a self-sufficient enterprise where we help we invest in other people. They also now invest back so that we can create a chain reaction. And we are, like I said, we're also investing in their minds as well. We're not just investing in business, setting them free. We're changing their mindset as well, so that they also look out for other people to help, and they also they see the value, the essence of life. They change their worldview and have the right worldview and have the right character and have the right mindset. So it starts with the heart, DSA. It starts from the heart, then you start to look for people that have in your sphere of influence that can help other people with little, maybe get them a job, or somebody needs 50,000, you can find somebody that can afford to give them, or somebody needs a tool and you can find somebody that can buy them those tools. You don't even have to collect the money. Just ask the person, can you buy this person this tool to help them start their business? That's all. And from there, if you want to now expand it, you can now expand it. So that's basically what I've done. It started with, starting in that small way.
But if you say that you don't have to start with money, and you didn't have money initially, but what about if I don't have money? Most people think they don't have money because they have been taught that any help they want to render any human being must be an extra help. They have not been told, or they have not been taught, that actually the money they are using as tithe and offering, especially tithe, could be used for this purpose as well. So,
yes.
Will it be appropriate for somebody to just, put aside his tithe like you did?
Oh, yes.
And then use that,
Oh, yeah.
because everybody that way can help, because everybody, they have been taught in Africa to be giving tithe. But why don't you use that to help concrete human beings?
Yes. DSA, you see, this issue of tithe and offering, let me tell you the truth. Some people don't even have the tithes. They are not regular tithe payers. Some of these people, they don't even have the tithe to pay. Some people have to borrow to pay these tithes. So it is in two ways. If you have tithes and offerings to pay every Sunday, please put it aside. And let's start directing those tithes and offering to the people that really need it. We have seen the examples right now. What our GOs and our pastors are saying with the reality on ground, it does not match. They say they're using the tithes and the offerings right, but we are seeing poverty grow in our community, in our society. We are seeing poverty increase. So it does not, there's no corroboration. So please, if you have tithes and offerings that you are paying, please direct it to the right people. But if you don't even know how to direct it, that's why Sowoko was set up. You can partner with us.
So we should show I think we do we have his website? Yeah, we are going to show your website now. Tell people how they could partner with you.
Now, so you could partner with us because like I said, what we do with Sowoko is a social business. We are using, right now, my wife are using our own personal income to fund it.
Wow.
But we can only do so much. There's so many needs out there.
So many needs, yeah. But you already have this. You already have the structure, the infrastructure.
Yeah, we have the infrastructure in place because we have been doing this for quite some time now. We have infrastructure in place. We have the database of people that have needs. So if you have tithes and offerings that you want to don't give it to church anymore. There are people out there with needs, and if you don't know how to reach out to those people, please, you can write to us at info@sowoko.com that you want to be our partner, and we'll send you all the details how to be a partner. It's very, very simple, and you will see already on our website you will see the testimonies of people that we have helped so far. Some of them we don't have their information on our website because some of them are a long time ago, and some of them we're just trying to gather them. But the people that we have done recently is on our website, and you can go there. Now, how do you partner with us?
Yes,
you can partner with us by donating these offerings and tithe to somebody's life, to set somebody up in business,
right?
To send somebody to school. To empower somebody, because when people are empowered economically, they are set free from all these religious cabals. They don't have to be they don't have to submit their lives and their family to this religious rigmarole. So go to our website, please. It's www.sowoko.com. Sowoko is spelled SOWOPO.com. Just go there. All the details are there. You can read about us, what we're doing, and send us an email, and we will reply. We will give you all the details. How you can donate. If you want to donate financially to us, fine. If you want us to find somebody that you can help, and we will guide you through it. We will give you the name of the person. We will send you the history of the person and what the person needs. And if you can provide the tools and not the money, if you can provide the tools for the person, whether it's a sewing machine, it's a keke marwa, is a barbing salon kit or something, that is fine. If you don't want to give the money, that is fine. So, but please just go on our website. More information is on our website. It is www.sowoko.com.
And we are also providing a WhatsApp number also there for people. Anyway, now another question I will have is, what about people who are afraid that if they stop giving tithe to church, they have been told that giving tithe to church is the way to go, and that's the only way you could be blessed because you are giving it to the church. So what about those people who are afraid of giving tithe to the church because they are thinking if they don't give tithe to the church, they will be poor. But if they are saying, okay, if I stop giving to the church, something bad might happen to me. And if I begin to give to ordinary people, as your life depreciated, as things become worse for you, since you stop taking money to churches.
Oh, DSA, my life is 3 billion times better than what it was. Oh, DSA, I am flying. DSA, the results that my wife and I are getting, because you see, like I said to you earlier on, Genesis, was it Genesis 26? No, I'm not sure if it's 26, that when God was talking about seed time and harvest.
Yes.
You see, people need to find out what the truth is. And please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not using this to psych DSA, but please go and listen to the Truth series. You will be able to understand the mechanism of how to know what is true, how to know what is not true, what are the signs, what are the red lights, what are the alert signs. Go and listen to the Truth series. It's still one of my best series. Listen to it and you will set yourself free. And you can also use that Truth series to set other people free that are not educated. But you have to understand how to detect what is true. Like I told you, if God meant seed time, if that seed time meant money, it will be people will get universal results. Just like pregnancy. Pregnancy is 9 months, whether you are Chinese, French, African, it is 9 months delivery. Do you understand, people? So people, please go and listen to DSA's messages online. That is the best way to set yourself free from all this fear mongering, that if you stop to pay tithes, your life will go down. My life has not gone down. DSA, I am now living. I am recovering lost years. I am living now. Because DSA, the other day you were saying something that, in the series of how to know God and be a friend of God, you said something that was very potent. You said the best of men have died. The best of men will die. Whether you live 200 years, you haven't even scratched the surface, because God said 1,000 years is like a day before the Lord. Can any man live 1,000 years? No. So everybody will die. But when you die, what would you be known for? Nobody will care if you worked at Goldman Sachs. Nobody will care if you worked at First Bank, if you became an MD. Nobody cares about that. It is the life that you touch. DSA will be forever. We see whether people like it or not. I know enemies right now, whether people like it or not, DSA's name is written in the history books forever. That is how you live for 1,000 years. When your name is written in the history books forever. So don't let anybody scare you. You have seen the proofs. Tithe and offering that you are giving does not work. Has it made you better? Has it made you as rich as Dangote? No. Has your life improved? No. You are still running helter-skelter to pay bills. You are still living hand to mouth every month. You still need your paycheck. Can you imagine DSA? The people that are paying tithe and offering the most are people that are working 9 to 5. They don't own their businesses. The people that own their businesses don't pay tithes. And that is the gospel truth. I have a friend, he has a big business in Nigeria, he doesn't pay tithes. But it is you people that are earning salary, that unbelievers are employing you. You are the ones paying tithes, and you are saying that, as your life improves since you have started paying tithes, you are still a servant at somebody else's company. You are still employed. You still need that paycheck to come in 30 days, without which you cannot pay your rent or your mortgage or whatever you have. So wake up, people. The reality, like I said, the logic, the reality does not support the claim of our so-called fathers of faith. It does not support it. So if you have been paying tithe for 10 years, has your life improved? No. You are still driving what you are driving. You can't afford to buy a brand new car. Because why? You are still paying tithe. DSA, those tithes and offerings are not even meant alone to support people. Let people even use it to support themselves. Let them go and start a family business. Let them go and start. People need to even go and start a family, because some people are really struggling. They don't need to even pay tithe and offering to anybody. They just need to go and use that to create options for themselves, economic options, to create it for themselves. That's what they need, DSA. So they don't even bring the tithe. Go and use the tithe for your own self. Set up a future for your children. Give hope to your children for the future. Stop paying tithes to these people, because the facts on ground does not support their claim. We have examined DSA for 30, 40 years. Does it take God that long to be merciful to Nigeria? Is God that wicked that it will take him 40 years of people preaching this heresy for God to answer?
The point is, it's not the truth.
It's not the truth, DSA. That's why it's not universal. That's why it's not absolute. That is why it's not consistent. Because it's not the truth. We are not getting the results. But since the time I started living, I stopped paying tithes and offering, DSA. My life, even in the UK, DSA, God has just been so merciful to my wife. You know why? DSA, God is just bringing us into businesses, ideas. I'm telling you. Because why? God sees that the money that is giving us has a purpose, is fulfilling a purpose. God is fulfilling a purpose. And God says that he that will be faithful in little, that is the person that God will give much to. If you are not faithful in little, you are not faithful in this tithe and offering that you are giving to, you are not faithful. It's not faithfulness to God. You are not being faithful by giving tithe and offering to this church. You are not being faithful to God. You have to be faithful to God is go and read James 1:27. Practice James 1:27. Practice John 13:35. Read from 34. And practice that. And you will see the faithfulness of how God will open. DSA, my wife's career. Oh my DSA, you won't believe what's going on. But I'll give you that gist privately. It is just things that we are not chasing after life anymore. Because you see, when you find yourself in a place of purpose, God will put around you the tools that you need to fulfill that purpose. When you are no longer trying to save your life, God will give you life in abundance. And that's what people need to realize. It is when you are still paying tithe and offering to these people, you are trying to save your life, and you will eventually lose it, people. You will eventually lose it. Because God sees your motive. You are trying to save yourself. And no man can save, you can't save yourself, because the Bible says that our righteousness is as filthy as rags. So you have to embrace the true gospel and go and find people and create opportunities for other people that are less privileged in the society. Look for people that you can touch, and they are all around us. We don't have to look so far. They are all around us. The streets that we live in, they are all around us. And that's what we need to do, DSA. And that's my advice to people. So they shouldn't be afraid of all these stories. It does not, there's no facts on ground to support that they are true, DSA. People have challenges in life. People have struggles in life. But that doesn't mean that it's because they're not paying tithes and they're not paying offering. DSA, when we stop paying tithes and offering, we relocated to the UK in the thick of recession. In the thick of recession.
Some people will say you stop paying tithe only because you are abroad. All these people are abroad. But if you are in Nigeria, there's no way you could stop paying tithe. I
stopped paying tithe in Nigeria. I mentioned it earlier on. I stopped paying tithe in Nigeria. I stopped paying tithe in Nigeria many years ago. I stopped paying tithe in Nigeria.
You said you had a fight with, they chased you away from 2 churches. What happened?
DSA. Is this issue of money? Is this issue of money? One of the pastors, can you imagine? Because you see, these are the things that when the church is only motivated by money, you will bring the wrong people to come and pastor the branch of the church. One of the pastors that they got, the guy used to be a 419. How did I know that? Yes, and they made him a pastor of a branch of a church. Because the church is motivated by money. It was one of my egbons in my street in Adelaja at that time said, This guy that is now your branch pastor, we know him very well. Oh. He's a 419. He's a Yahoo. I said, are you serious? He said, yes. And I said, maybe he has changed. He's become born again and all that. But DSA, you know what happened? When the guy became the pastor and he took the position of the branch pastor, DSA, oh my, his true color started showing. We donated money to buy the church a bus. That bus was also meant for the pastor to be using. We don't mind, but it was also for the instrumentalists in the church, so that they will stop looking for local transportation all the time to carry instruments to the hotel that we are using at that time, because it was a lot of money and it was stressful for those boys. These boys wake up at 5 a.m. on Sunday to set up the church and all those things. So we said, let's put money together and put this money together to buy a bus for the church. You know what the pastor did? The pastor after we gathered all the money together, the pastor dissolved the board, chased all the elders away, and went to use the money to buy a Mercedes Benz for himself. Yeah, so he went to use the money to buy a Mercedes Benz for himself. And he was using the tithes and offering that was coming to church to carry girls. They will go to clubs, go and have fun. Yes, DSA. It was people that were telling us. When the headquarters church now called him, and they called him for a meeting and said, okay, we have had your atrocities in the battle. Can you please return the car to the church, let them go and sell it, and buy a bus as earlier planned? You know what the guy did? The guy ran back to Ibadan with the car, took all the properties. We rented a duplex for him in Bodija at that time. Duplex. All the furniture that we put in the duplex, he packed everything and ran away. But today, yes, today. No, you know what? He went to start his own church. The church didn't last 6 months. It didn't last 6 months. Now, the guy is a bartender. That pastor is a bartender in a restaurant. Can you beat that?
But how come they sent you away from the church?
Because I fought with the pastors. That pastor went to carry thugs because I said that there are needs in the church. I'm a signatory to the account of the church. What are you using money to do? Boys, some of the boys in the church got admission to go to school. They just needed 5,000 naira for registration. The church can't provide 5,000 naira at that time. These boys are struggling. They will wake up. They are the ones carrying the equipment, doing all the wahala. And nothing comes to them, and you are living large. And because I support this kind of boys, they went to carry thugs. He used me to preach, chased my mother away from the church, chased my mother's elderly friends away from the church, cursed us, and all those things. Just because I was against injustice. And I said that let's use part of this money to take care of the needy people in the church. I'm not us alone, because I'm so close to the leadership. The other pastor did the same thing as well. Using the church to go and buy a BMW for himself, the money that we put together for a bus. Using the church money to trade, to do business. That one too impregnated choir members. And all those things. And I can't stand all that, because especially for these young university and polytechnic students, that they do so much to put the church service together every Sunday, and they can't come to church to get 5,000 as support allowance for school. They can't come to church. So what is the essence of the church in the first place? What is the essence of a church? If we can't do that, if we can't be our brother's keeper, what is the essence of a church, DSA? So it's so sad. And I can't stick that. I can't stomach it. So the first pastor chased me away. They came to beg me. I went back to the church. When the second pastor did the same thing, I resigned. Because I was just signing checks. I was signatory to the account. I don't know what they're using the money for. Money is not coming to me. They don't even care about me as a member, as part of the... But I'm not concerned about myself, because thank God I come from a good and average family. But what about the people that I know their family background? These guys are struggling. And they just, one of them was the one what broke the camel for me. He needed 5,000 naira to register for his university admission, and the church was talking story. The church was talking story. I said, no way. I went to, there was one, I was the one that went to give, I gave that guy the money. I got the boys in church. I said, we have to give this guy the money. One of the guys that was serving in the parsonage as well, this guy was sleeping on the floor. I said, why are you sleeping on the floor in the BQ? He said, the pastor said that's how he suffered. So he also had to suffer. This boy was sleeping on the floor, DSA. I had to go and I told God, I said, God, provide me the money to buy this boy a mattress. God provided me the money. I went to buy the boy a mattress. Now, what does it mean? If you are free, that's what I'm talking about, slavery mentality. If the pastor was truly free, you won't want to enslave somebody, or you want somebody else to go through what you went through. You will set him free because you suffered. Why should somebody else suffer? Because you slept on the floor. Should he sleep on the floor? These are the things I'm talking about. We have slaves as leaders, DSA. In the political arena, we have slaves leading us. In the church, we have slaves leading us. And that's why they cannot set nobody free. They cannot set themselves free. Not to talk of setting millions of people free. How can they set us free? Because they are slaves.
Seun, this has been epic. Firebrand all the way. Firebrand all the way. Shoot me to my right now. Fire all the way. And I want to commend you and really appreciate your effort and for sharing your heart with us. Deep thoughts and great challenge. I'm sure that a lot of people have been delivered today. My love and greetings to your partner, to your wife, together with whom you are doing this wonderful, wonderful job. You people are just awesome. And these are the new generation of Christians that God is going to be raising, like you people, who will not be dependent on religion, but will use their common sense, look for real needy people around, and be using their money to take care of them. You've done so well, and I'm sure that everybody that is watching, they've gotten your contacts, and they will get in touch with you. Thank you so much for coming today. Maybe you want to say something before you go.
Yes. First of all, yes, I really want to thank you. Like I said, you are one of the major tools that God has used for me and my wife. You are a true role model, because that's what's lacking in Africa. We don't really have true role models. We don't have many role models. You are one of the best role models in the Christian faith, number one, and in the social scene as well. Because you are an all-rounder. And I really want to thank you for your efforts. I really want to thank you for everything that you have been doing for Africa, for the West, and for the black race. You are a proud son of Africa. And we are truly proud of you, because you have lifted the nation of Africa up with all that you have done in the West. And we are truly grateful to you. And we really look up to you. We look up to you so much. And I just pray that God will continue to multiply your grace and give you more strength, because all you do every day, it can only be God. And I just want to thank God for your life. And I bless the day that I met you again online. I just thank God, because I can't really pinpoint how it happened. I just know that I started listening to you. Whether it's 2016 or 2017, my wife and I were not really sure, but we know that's the Spirit of God. I really want to thank you. And I want to admonish people, please go and listen to the series of DSA, especially the thinking series, the paganism series, syncretism, thinking series. Those are my series that I like.
And the truth. You like the truth also.
And the truth, truth series is very, very important. And set yourself free first. Because you can only set others free when you are free in your mind. Thank you, DSA, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Go and share this message. Share with as many people as possible. And, let the revolution continue. In the next 25 minutes, we'll be back to continue on the series, How to Know God and Be a Friend of God. Peace.